Want to bring our good friend from Baltimore onto the line. We've got the host of Stay in Your Lane, Bernard Hollywood Williams, Olympic gold medalist. B-Dub, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
So I have got a few stories that we've got to close out the show with. I think we can easily convert these into Stay in Your Lane topics. You want to help us close these out?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Ezekiel Elliott did an interview talking about his experience testing positive and he said he had about 2 days' worth of symptoms due to the coronavirus. Now, Ezekiel Elliott also says he is unsure if he will play in 2020. This is obviously not something new that we're used to hearing from Ezekiel Elliott. Has he been a distraction enough times where, yeah, there is a pandemic going on, but you've kind of used up your chips in the particular sitting out category? Do we need Zeke to just hush up and play? Should Ezekiel Elliott stay in his lane?
I don't know, man. I mean, if he's been infected and he's sick, we got to treat him like anything else. I mean, I know he's probably glad to just be alive because people are dying from that stuff. So, I mean, if he feels, he may not be able to play, then that's his thing. I can't tell him to stay in his lane.
Bernard, you're too forgiving. You're too forgiving. Jake, am I wrong here? Does Zeke need to hush up and play?
You are wrong. It's a pandemic. We got to take it seriously. If someone's concerned, then I think we should respect that concern.
I hear that. All right. NFL teams are planning to sell advertising in the lower bowl seats of stadiums since you can't use the seats, since you can't have games, although we are seeing some stadiums that are saying that, like, for example, Texas will be allowed to have full fans. Other stadiums will be at half capacity. Other stadiums limiting to maybe just 5,000 or 10,000 people. So the seats that are unsold in the lower bowl of the stadium, you're now going to see advertisements on NFL games. I imagine this is going to look something like you would see in Premier League soccer. You tend to see a ring of advertisements around the field. Is this something that's going to turn you off from football? Does the NFL need to stay in their lane?
Well, I don't know. But if people are out there and they still hitting each other and playing, I'm still going to watch it.
I like it. Jake, would you agree?
Yeah, it's like when people got mad that the NBA started putting one sponsor logo on the jersey. Like, people will get mad about anything. But this is an easy way to make money in a time when ticket sales go away. So I think this is a no-brainer if you're a businessman that owns an NFL team.
I'm with you. I've never understood that. There's certain leagues that need those sponsorships in order to survive, and they will have their jerseys loaded up like NASCAR cars.
Yeah.
But because they need those sponsorships in order to survive. NBA doesn't necessarily need the money, but
I tell you what, if I watch them, I would be looking forward to seeing the Ticket Sports Network on the side, plastered up on the side, along with Stay in Your Lane Entertainment plastered on the side as well of an NFL game.
Collin, do some accounting. See if that's in the budget for us, would you?
I don't think my paycheck will survive.
I don't think so. The Redskins, they make the decision, and they removed the statue last week of George Preston Marshall. George Preston Marshall was the former owner of the Redskins. He came from a distant time, and he himself was a proponent of segregationism. The Redskins are now removing him from their foolishly named Ring of Fame. I just hate the sound of Ring of Fame. It should be Ring of Honor, right? Mm-hmm. Ring of Honor just has a better ring to it than Ring of Fame. Halls are Halls of Fame. Rings are Rings of Honor. I hate Ring of Fame. That's just my soapbox on that. But it is a good move that they are removing the segregationist George Preston Marshall from their Ring of Fame. I got to say this. You know that a movement is in the world. You know that a movement is in the works when the Washington Redskins are getting behind social injustice issues and saying, man, that's wrong. We might still be using this Redskins name, but even we can see that's wrong. Do the Redskins need to stay in their lane?
I don't know, man, because next thing you know, they're going to remove the actual Redskins logo because it's supposed to resemble the Native American. And then what we're going to have?
Jake, let me ask you, in this current climate, is now the time we finally see the Redskins moniker removed?
I hope so. I'm ready for the time when I can say the Washington insert mascot here instead of the Washington professional football team.
How does Dan
Well,
Snyder possibly resist this
They got
now?
to do it for the Atlanta Braves too, and the Red Sox.
Yeah, I mean, if the Braves, I agree. The only team that has worked with Native Americans has been Florida State.
Florida State. You get a
They
pass
got-
because you got
No. They got to remove the Seminoles too.
Well, they got permission from the Seminole Indian tribe, and they see it as a mutual honor relationship, so they're actually okay.
Florida State's respectful. The Braves for a long time had a mascot called Chief Nakahoma. I mean, come on.
Which I love.
Right.
I love
But
the
it's
creativity
gonna
of the
it's gonna
name.
all I'm saying is it's going to start a movement for other things. That's all.
Yes. ESPN's planning to produce a docu-series on LeBron James, The Decision. Remember everything that went into the decision. Kind of releasing some of the backstory about how the decision started. It might be interesting to note that this idea did not come from LeBron James. It did not come from any of his people. It did not come from ESPN. It was actually originated with a fan who put this in basically a suggestion box on a TV panel as he had a chance to, I believe it was Ernie that was sitting on this panel and put the idea out there of, hey, what if LeBron James did like a 1-hour TV special and announces why he's going to a particular place and we make a whole big deal out of it. So it was actually a fan idea to have the decision. My question is how do you have like a 6 or a 10-part docuseries on something that was a one-night event? Does ESPN need to stay in their lane?
No, because I may want to work with them one day.
Yeah.
But I will say this. He should talk about all his decisions, like when he left to go to Miami, when he left from Miami to go to Cleveland, and then when he left from Cleveland to go to Los Angeles, or when he left from high school to go to the pros. I think they should put a whole bunch of those together and watch something positive happen.
Kind of like they did with The Last Dance. You go to that last finals, but then you kind of get the run-up for the whole run of things.
Yes.
Last topic,
Yes.
leave you with this. The American Conference not going to have their marching bands take the field, not taking the bands or the cheerleaders to away games. Does the American Conference need to stay in their lane?
I don't know, man. I like cheerleaders. That's all I'm going to say.
I like cheerleaders, too. We'll leave you with that. We'll be back next week. Bernard, always appreciate having you on the show. For Jake, Collin, and myself, be back on Monday. Thanks for tuning into the morning show here on the Ticket Sports Network.